The key thing that I believe happened was when this group of people, and I was one of them, got together and became a company. We had a very dedicated think how we wanted to do things. Design, build, don't fool around, and a pretty good marketing system. Pretty soon everybody wanted to sell the boats. Well, we couldn't build them fast enough. I do remember that after CNC 27, the very first boats I was involved in, we were building 4 a week. There's been about 1,800 of them, because it was also built in England. There was a guy who says, "Oh, I like that boat." So he went there and introduced him to the whole thing. The other boats that developed very quickly, at least when I was there, is the CNC 35. I do remember the very first boat that I raced was owned by a couple of teachers out of Hamilton. First race, in Ontario race, Toronto, Hamilton, other side of the lake, Henderson Harbor back to Rochester. It's about 150, got on that boat. One guy was a good sailor, the other was there with his wife. He promptly got seasick with the moment we started to go. So the two of us drove this boat from one end of the lake to the other and back, and heaven forbid, but we won, we won out that part of the race. Wow. Instantly, everybody wanted to see CC35. 3 a week were built. And this is the company that became internationally known. My job eventually very much involved builders outside Canada. We had a builder in Italy, Mr. Bonello. He sold 36-footer, I think it was, to every admiral in the Italian Navy. And so we had a race, about 8 or 9 of them, all trying to beat each other. Funny story there, but anyway. We had a builder in England, we had a builder in Germany, who did big custom-built boats, 50s, all that. And I was very much in on the design of those things. What I'm saying is that you are all CNC people. CNC became a leader in their own little field, and then we had people who stole the designs, or tried to, and built boats worldwide. There was one in South Africa where we nailed down. There were other builders that did that. The CNC of the late 60s, early 70s to mid 60s, mid 70s, that's the company that I know of. After that, I got the real smart and started my own company, and eventually lost it, but the whole 1970s, get into the 80s area, I think I'm probably outliving most of you. That was an interesting time, boat building wise. I picked up a lot of knowledge and skill about fiberglassing, got into commercial situations, but also in 1982, Canadian decided to participate in the America's Cup. And so I became what they call designer on the job of the 1983 America's Cup thing, in which Canada participated for the first time, don't know how many years, but there were a total of 11 boats built for the 1983 race. And the Canadian boat made it to the last 4, eventually got run out of the competition by the Australian boat, Gradle, that won, beat the Americans. And I do remember a lot of things about this 12-meter program. The boat that we produced, think in terms of a small island offshore in the Georgian Bay, and it's a native group that owns the island. During the war, they built a plant there that produced munitions in such a way that if the place ever blew up, nobody else would get hurt. They're in the middle of nowhere. Also, to get them there, you had to go over train by train, single line bridge. If you didn't get over that, it's because in the other end, the natives were waiting to throw you in the water. If you didn't live here, what boat you want to talk about? There's no one here. We built it quietly in that plant that had been abandoned. And what's funny things, again, I remember we built a boat, Lumen, 72 feet, and there's a lot of little stuff had to be designed. But one of the things that I at CNC developed was how to build proper molds for a thing like a keel that's on the boat. All you people have a keel on the boat. To think about it from design point of view, first of all, you got to figure out the final keel is not just plain lead. It's an amalgam with other materials in it, but what it does, it raises the temperature while the keel's being poured, and it also expands. So the mold that you make has to grow. And in the old days, people brought in big chunks of fir plywood, fir wood and all that. And I developed a method whereby the boat, the design, was actually designed out of sheets of plywood. Because plywood, if you put it together and you start working on it, every glue line becomes a completely fair line in the development of the mold. And if you had it designed with the expansion factor built in, then by the time you were done with the whole thing, you got a keel that was on weight, would fit, and didn't have to be planed and shaved. That is the attitude we took to a lot of things on the boat. Do it in such a way that whatever sits there, that's it. And I can honestly say that, yeah, we had competitors, but they never really got to that point. Having the cleanest shop, having the best fitting components. I did a lot of design work on castings that went in the boat. All your people probably have cast frames on your hatches, built out of a peculiar kind of bronze. They were all built in Toronto, one company, and they dropped them off at our place by the truckload. But they were all built out of solid cast bronze, specifically for the job. And most of window frames, hatch frames, and so on and on. And that made us stand out. I bet you that not too many of you people really have a leaking hatch. I'd be kind of disappointed if I were to have to listen to, oh yeah, my thing leaks this and the whole thing, because we try to avoid that kind of stuff. The boats were not cheap, but you can't make good and cheap usually in the same way. I mean, I was making these holes in the water that, as I said, you guys filled with money. But after that, I had to come up with the structural part of the hull and the deck. The way it's going to be built, which is all done in molds. The weight, every bit of thing that I designed weighted something. Well, it's all done and over. You think on it till this way or that build or whatever, just to get it right to the point that it would float properly with the right stability. If you do it enough over time, you learn. And for instance, an important thing in the design end always was the forebody of the boat. According to the Iowa racing rules, there was a way of coming up with the best one. And we developed a method, and that developed a front of the boat in such a way that you had a, let's get the name again, a specialized front. And just let me try to get this up. The it's called the prismatic coefficient. Like anything that has 3 dimensions, but will change performance based on how the shape is, could be a car, could be a plane, could be a boat. You have to develop a way of getting hold of the information that you've done, try to produce something that is better. Prismatic coefficient was that one. And it's all to do with the shape of the front of the boat. Not if you really, you look at the boat, it looks good and all that. I'm telling you that it's just one of the things that when you go for the top of things like that become important. I do remember that we built boats that need to be improved. They were one-offs, and people were willing to throw another $100,000 on the table for a faster boat. And in those days, that was done with adding what they call bustles. Bustles were additions to the aft body that increased the volume, but in such a way that the boat went faster, but did not get a higher rating. A lot of boats went through all that. All these things, they eventually wind up in the projects. The boats that CNC built in the 80s, I came back to CNC in those days to a commercial situation, but they were all with that all in mind in the back difference and the rear end. And I do believe there is still another view that accurately race and do quite well. The latest racing boats that you're now seeing coming out that go like 70, 80 kilometers an hour, I have no idea. It's totally out of my line, but it's amazing that developments happen that eventually come up with something like that. So, what can I tell you? Hole in the water, weight contribution, proper flotation, a righting moment, meaning how stable is the boat, and keeping track of all that and trying to keep learning and progressing. I've done it about 25 years in my life and then gave up on it. I got into commercial applications of composites and different things. There are also different types came. The carbon fiber, I remember when it came out $50 a pound of it. We didn't do very much with that one. Later on it became better. And in the end, yeah, there's a lot of boats now that have a lot of carbon fiber in it. And I've been in the design of that. Commercial products, well, airplanes in these days, it's all carbon fiber now, the whole tail, and there's a section, wings, and they all based on one thing. So, why do I talk about it? It's, most people like you, you're not boat builders, but you have one, and you may do something else. It has been kind of a little bit of an industry that has fed into others, which benefiting from, in my opinion, some of the stuff that we tried to do, and did reasonably well. And there's about 30, 40 boats here laying outside. When you look at a situation like that, not sure how the biggest one is, but CNC, design-wise, we built boats up to 60, 70 foot, custom built and supervised and built up reputations and all that. All that is partly because you buy a boat 27, your next one is a 40 foot and then there's a 61 or whatever. Designers love that, but that is the way it went. I cannot think of my career, if you wish, another industry that actually did that. I was asked many times to lead up a project using composites in a new field, and it was thinking about it, coming up with ideas, design, marketing, the whole thing, building prototypes and all that. And that's been an interesting thing. It all started out when CNC got formed, when 4 people, 5 people got together and decided, we want to build good boats. You are the beneficiary.